I find myself often asking the Lord, what do you want from me? It's one of those questions that when answered sometimes fills the gaping hole of insecurity that most of us mask from one another out of self-protection. Years of not measuring up, being second best, being overlooked, not feeling understood, working to be noticed, always feeling like it, whatever it is, will never be enough. This cloud looms over us and it completely dictates the way that we look at and do life. All of our lives, we viewed ourselves through this lens of what do we have to offer? Are we the sexiest? Do we have the most muscles? Can we sing the best? Who has the hardest work ethic? Who is the most creatively savvy? How good are we at something? Parenting, cleaning, cooking. We're forever self-promoting because we truly don't feel worthy. We look at ourselves as an item. What do we have to offer in exchange for our presence? Constantly faced with the idea that if we aren't good enough, we'll simply be replaced. It's daunting, yet he calls us to be dauntless. I have a feeling that has a lot less to do with the emotional state of fear, rather releasing the fear that we'll lose our position. This is what we're all really fighting for unknowingly. We will cling to labels that come and go. Titles, wife, husband, author, speaker, accountant. If you ripped a label off a gallon of milk, is it any less a gallon of milk than it was 2 seconds ago before you ripped the label off? Maybe that's our issue. We think that the label is what adds the value, but we're actually no less without the description on the side. There are seasons of life where these titles, these labels pass and fade away like the sun sets. What then? We'll run to the next title in order to level up our significance meter because it dropped when the last title left. We don't know how to release and take on without that label becoming part of our identity. And this is how we come to the Father. We fear that we'll be replaced if we don't perform well enough, that he'll pass us by, even with our hardest of efforts trying to understand something that our human minds were not made to fathom. Our fear of not being accepted is really the fear of rejection, which is rooted in shame. We fear we don't have enough to offer him. So of course, like everything and everyone else, why would he stay? What do you want from me? We yell this through this silentest of sighs, overcome with the battle of unworthiness. Have you ever spent time proving yourself to God? It is the most exhausting, defeating task because no amount of effort actually adds or takes away any value. So I have to ask myself, what is the point of all this blood, sweat, and tears? Acceptance. We'll turn into a workhorse to be accepted. We'll become something we're not just to be liked. We'll even allow our true identity to die on the verge of stealing someone else's. Something is choking the light out of us, wasting away trying to prove the worth to someone you could never prove it to because of who freely gave it to you. We're completely unaware of what we possess. He said to me, Deanna, when you don't know who you are in me, you'll strive for a crown that was given to you before you were born. Imagine a prince running around the town trying to prove to everyone this title that he was born with. He could sit on that throne or in the middle of a group of homeless people and never give an order. And still, he'd be the prince because of who he was born from. In the midst of trying to prove myself constantly, the Lord said to me, Deanna, your chaos is the most beautiful storm to me. There's nothing to prove here because I'm not leaving. I'm always left speechless when it comes to Father. What feels like a mess to me, he calls beautiful. We have to ask ourselves, why did he make us in his image? What did he see in himself that was worth mirroring in us? He's teaching me to disown my worthiness is to disown his worthiness. And that, well, I'll just leave it at that.